Okay, let me.
I love the glasses though.
Perfect question. So we're going to jump right in. We'll introduce ourselves in a moment. I'm trying to learn how to be a host from Paul Carrick-Brunson. But my friend Kemi has asked a great question about my glasses. I have really good vision, but I am 51. What's happening now is I can't use my Microsoft machine. So I have a Win 7 machine. The hardware is from 2011, and there's a point to this story. So I'm on my MacBook. So now all of my communication with the world, the screen is too small. So I find myself squinting. I can see it, but I don't want to train myself to squint.
Yeah.
So I have to have a pair of reading glasses around. Now, what we're talking about and why I'm recording this, everyone, this is Deb Helfrich on May 8th, where it's like 3:33 p.m. or something like that, Pacific Standard Time. I'm advocating to get a message into Microsoft that they need to recall the Windows 7 end of life. So they've stopped supporting Windows 7 as of January 2020. The economically disadvantaged around the globe are the ones still on Win 7. If I'm on Win 7, many people have not been able to afford hardware to upgrade, and they don't want to upgrade to Win 10. There are many security reasons. So for me, it's part money, but part also all of the security. And I don't like how it looks. I have chunked how to use Win 7. So my brain can just keep going and creating, and my hands are just moving. It's like driving to work without knowing I'm in a car. I just show up and all of a sudden I'm at my desk getting going. Subconscious chunking is why we cannot have these software companies constantly rolling out updates for no reason, just moving a button here and there. They have to stop abusing humans with tech. Why we're recording this is on LinkedIn, while I was learning about cryptocurrencies and stock from an amazing panel on #BetterWithCall, and I know my friend Kemi was there, and it was like a college lecture, but we learned about patties, and it's a new way for professionals to learn. But while I was on, I got a message on LinkedIn that an executive vice president who I'd been commenting to on LinkedIn, we've been connections for years. I live in the Seattle area. But a Black man who has been a Microsoft employee for 23 years read my comments and agrees that there is some merit to having somebody in Microsoft look into recalling the Win 7 end of life. That right now, this is actually a moral problem. So I've told you I'm personally invested. That's why I kept looking at it philosophically going, I can't go out and buy a new machine. It's really about the mind power mostly. But it's also now the supply chain of new computers is hit a brick wall because of COVID-19. So even if somebody has the resources, they're not supposed to be going out. They can't go learn training to upgrade it. I mean, we really, having created the globe's operating system, they now have a moral responsibility, if there are users on Win 7, to not have those people lose access to the internet. I'm a first-person case that Firefox and Chrome are now barely usable because they're going forward and they're not testing whether they continue working on Win 7. If you're about to make somebody in America lose access to the internet, because again, we're just talking about the browsers. I'm saying it in a big way, but we're talking about the browsers and the programmers at both Firefox and Chrome. I use them both. So I have another reason I haven't moved my glasses yet. On the small MacBook, I can't multitask the way I do on a large desktop. And I know my friend, I've watched her work via LinkedIn, and we have the same way of processing things, a lot of things at the same time. I've described why we're recording this and why it's going straight on YouTube, because I want to give the Microsoft execs something to look at, and they're going to need to know whose idea this came from. Now, other people may have this idea, but do they have access to an executive VP at Microsoft? Do they know how to make noise on LinkedIn to get that access? I think I'm really rare and unique. So I'll shut up. And Kemi, the way this is going to work in a normal session, this is a like let's save the world session, is what I'll do is I don't like the whole thing about creating a bio for somebody. What I'm going to do is let all my guests, because this is a web series. This is the first official spinoff of #BetterWithPaul. You're a guest on hashtag Deeper with Deb. So after that, and I've done about, Paul likes to go on for about 10, 12 minutes before he gets anyone on. So I'm again, following the lead of my mentor. Kemi, I'd like you to, of course, introduce yourself. I mean, you've got a fascinating background. And then I want you to tell the good people about our relationship, that this is our very first conversation.
So, hi guys. My name is Kemi. Last name is Sogunle. I hold up to several jobs or titles, but I'm not big on the title. I'm big more about the relationship building. I'm an author. I'm a certified life and relationship coach and expert. I'm also a realtor. I'm a mother. I'm a mentor. I'm a business consultant in the IT world.
It's fantastic. I know people are not going to know from the color of my skin that I should be saying this, but there is literally a global championship going on between Jamaicans and Nigerians, or who can have the most simultaneous jobs as a nation. Okay, I don't know. We got to look how the population strikes out, but it is quite literally the culture of seeing the world in that way. And this redhead is learning. She's coming right along. She's playing on both the Nigerian and Jamaican teams. She's not taking sides yet. And this is what Deeper with Deb is about, to be honest with everyone. This is about showing racial harmony. This is about demonstrating that two people with radically extremes of skin color can meet for the very first time and have it recorded, to show a completely different kind of rapport. Now, we actually know each other better than it might seem, because we have commented now over weeks, with a whole tribe of people who we've established trust with. So one of my last guests yesterday was Ron Foster, who I know you've been talking with. So we've created this interconnection, and this is something white people, we don't do, that Black people do. Black people will basically pay it forward. They'll introduce people. They'll let you know, hey, I have talked to this person, and she is not somebody who you need to be worried about being prejudiced. There is really a sort of communication stream that happens, because when a Black and white person meet in the United States of hypocrisy, there tends to be this sort of wall, it's this sort of plexiglass. We're looking at each other, but people don't know, they don't get into their own passion. There's this whole, and we're not gonna do that today. We're just gonna go forth and really try to demonstrate, look, the way America models human interaction is poisonous. And Kemi is, I love what she's putting out on relationships. We can talk about that. So I thought it would be just a great thing to just jump on and show, you know, again, two professional females on usually these get to know you conversations. Things aren't happening, but we're gonna be doing work. I'm gonna start off, I'll go backwards. I have a, if you want to do this, you don't have to, but I think you might want to do this. Let me get out my notes. But this is a 50-50. I won't have the time to do the work, but you might, and you might have somebody who, it's actually on paper. Okay. You might have somebody who knows how to do this. What I thought would be a really interesting thing, and again, just an idea out to you, is we could kind of co-conceive of an ebook series, perhaps, on explaining the antiviral properties of salt and honey. While everyone else is all, here comes the vaccine, we could actually explain it. Now, they're not gonna stop you if you're actually, you know, need to go on a ventilator, but if you've just went out to the grocery store, if you do a salt wash in your mouth, if you have some honey, these are spot treatments to help reduce the impact of the virus being able to lodge in your system. What do you think, Kemi?
I'd have to research on that. I haven't really thought much about those two ingredients. I do natural honey at all the time. I don't really eat processed honey. It's honey that has honeycomb in it, and it's right from the beehive, and you get a lot of probiotics from that as well. Naturally building your immune system on your own, and just using natural remedies. I'm a big fan of natural remedies because you also see that they're not processed in the lab. When you have things processed in the lab, you're thinking about addition of other chemicals that may alter your immune system, alter the level of bacteria that's the normal, and alter the pH of the body, and also open you up to a lot of infections that you may not even be aware of.
Right.
That will show up in your own world.
So we'll do a little bit of background here just for the good people. We're not girlfriend talking. Kemi is an actual microbiologist. She has a degree in it. So that we're not sort of passing around fluff. I personally have looked into it, and honey was used by soldiers in World War I as a disinfectant for actual wounds. So again, it's not 100% certain. You have to know how to apply the honey. You have to take care of the wound. You have to know what you're doing if you're using it as an oral supplement. If you had to go out to the store and for some reason your mask, fell off, or this happened and somebody sneezed at you, when you would come home, just like you would be washing off anything, you can go in your bathroom, do a salt swish. Everyone who goes and has dental treatment is issued instructions to do a salt swish, and then honey would be following the salt swish. Basically this is not airborne. So I had an article yesterday about a nasal spray being developed at the University of Pittsburgh, where I went to college at Carnegie Mellon. Again, people, there is a lot of pressure away from natural remedies and in really making people condescending that there's no knowledge there. And there very much is. And this is very much a quality of life situation that, again, rather than doing nothing, rather than just going, I hope not, you can have had a situation where you're really concerned and come in and do things, because the virus is getting in through your mouth. It is not airborne. We'd be having an entirely different scenario contagion-wise. We've seen the movies if it was airborne. So the action of infection, and again, not 100%, but somewhere at the 70%, people are getting infected because the virus is getting in through their mouths. So just a freebie here, but this is really an ebook. This is really a piece of information that between the two of us, as sort of the person with the idea and the person who can do a little science, we could create a brief ebook that is very valuable. And if you'd like to put it on your website, go ahead. I won't have the time, but I'm happy.
I'll think about that. And another thing is, it's actually airborne. That's one mistake most people make about the viruses. Viruses are normally airborne and they're actually friendly to the body. But when it comes to where they have been played around with and they've been genetically altered to where, during mutation and trying to figure out how to find a solution or a vaccine to it, then you're looking at altering the state and even making it more powerful, because again, they mutate, they replicate quickly so that they can protect themselves and kind of build a shield around themselves.
Yeah.
But if you look at on a daily basis, we're exposed to these things outside of the pandemic. We're exposed daily to bacteria, we're exposed daily to viruses, and that's how we also build our immunity against these things. And what I see is we've lost our touch with the soul, we've lost our touch with nature, we've lost our touch with building our own immunity, and we become so codependent on pharmacy-created medicines, which should only be our last resort when we're ill, to looking for solutions. It's like you have a headache. This is another thing that I share with my coaching clients. You have a headache. Your headache may be from over-worrying, maybe from overthinking, maybe from a lot of internal conflicts that are not resolved that are showing up. And you start to have a headache, but you don't think about those things. So you head up to the doctor and you get the medication, and it's all helping you relax and sleep. But does the problem really go away? The problem doesn't go away. You wake up again and start to overthink again. And there you are with the headache still showing up, and your BP goes up because every issue you have is tied to the 8 areas of life. And so when you worry about your wheel of life not being balanced, then you're going to have health issues, you're going to have mental issues, you're going to have emotional issues. And if those are not resolved, then you're going to end up going to the doctor frequently, developing high blood pressure, and not really resolving your own issue, but becoming codependent on medicine as a source of healing. But your body is a healer.
Yes. 100, I'll say that again. Your body is a healer. She's explaining it as a microbiologist, and I'll explain it as a philosopher. It comes down to this. Most of the medicines we're taking in America, and again, most, are addressing symptoms over the counter entirely. And then as you go to pharmaceuticals, there are different methods of action. But the pharmaceuticals are taking away your pain. They're not addressing how, they're not curing you, they're not healing you. We've smushed that together somehow. They're taking away the pain. So as she says, tomorrow you get back up, you go to a job with an abusive boss, or you have colleagues who treat you differently because your skin is different. You got the headache again. Now you're basically keeping that bottle of whatever pills in your desk when it's not your body that's the problem, it's your environment. America, y'all in serious jeopardy. And we're here to talk rationally and intelligently and give you strategies to make it through this summer, because it's going to be a do the right kind of thing summer.
And I'll say this, it's not, because I speak globally as well, it's a global issue. We've been conditioned to believe that we have to be codependent.
Yes.
And if you look at how you came into the world, you came alone. You learned to maneuver in the womb for 9 months with nobody in there with you, but you just learning about life, and you're learning to emerge, and you're learning to, to be your own person that you were created as uniquely. And then you come out of the womb and you learn to cry and demand for stuff. And then you get to the toddler stage, you learn to walk. And if I even put a roadblock on your path and say, you know what, I don't want you as a toddler to go over here, nothing stops you, because you just want to get to where you're going, your destination, without interruption. But then we get to the teenage stage of life and we begin to, yield to peer pressure and lose ourselves and lose our mind and just forget that we're unique, we're whole, we're not born to be codependent. Right. And we just begin to consume rather than produce and heal our own lives and realize that life is a journey, it's not a race.
And it's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be pleasurable. Like the smile that just came on your face when you had that, that's what's missing, America. You're being forced into these, cubicle captivity situations. And there's nothing fun about being chained to a desk for now 60 hours a week, because now the desk is chained with you. I mean, you do it yourself. It's like the elephant having you're chaining yourself to your job. Don't do it anymore. The job's going to disappear this summer, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Another thing that people need to realize from a coaching perspective is that if you allow fear to be your voice, you will never have the power to find your own voice. And that's what it is. You see people go on a job and they're poorly treated, or they even have cases where I have to, take care of family stuff, but you can't even vent that out because you have the fear of the unknown. Oh, I may be laid off, so I would rather endure the pain than become free when I was actually not born to be caged. And you have to realize that you have to lay your cards and let people know that you are standing in your own power and in your own light. I've had to do that before, and I had to stand up for myself and say, you know what, I will not let you treat me this way, because I was raised to treat people like I want to be treated. That's one of my core values. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I don't see color, I don't see race, I don't see differences, I see one body. And because we all came from the same source, we have to honor that source.
Certainly, we came from the same source. Do you know what I call my subconscious? My nickname for my subconscious is my inner African. Because it's tapping into collective unconscious, tapping into the history of the species. As Homo sapiens, we have all of this data. It's in our from evolution. It's our choice to pay attention to, you know, the commercials of America and consider that wisdom when our body's telling us something different. Our body wants to keep us alive 24/7. If it's craving potato chips, guess what? I'm the person gonna explain to you how to go within that and ask. You know, your body does not want you to be fat and unpopular.
No.
And to not and to, you know, have challenges with physical movement. When your body gives you cravings for potato chips, and I have them, I got nothing but cravings for potato chips. But what that means is, given the food environment that I have had, my body knows that's a reliable source of calories at a particular balance of easy to digest potatoes with fat and salt accompanied. And I don't have to do a lot of prep. I open I open the package and they're there. This is a very efficient food stuff. My body's looking at potato chips for the nutritional value. It's looking at what's going on in my body, how many calories I'm burning, and it's saying, please do this. What makes that then become, I'm looking for a personality word and I'm not quite, addictive. I can't find a better word than addictive. So the appropriate amount of potato chips is an honest signal from my body. When I become addicted, when I go from eating, you know, the small sandwich size bag to having the bigger bag and not being able to stop at a portion, that's coming from an external signal. In some way, somehow, I'm stressed by my environment. I'm stressed by the work I have to do at my job, or fighting with my neighbors over, you know, who knows what. I don't fight with, you know, like Kemi and I, like, a lot of that becomes irrelevant because you're so in your own truth that you begin to make the steps to have your life just be clean. Your work is so compelling, helping people, you know, uniting the globe being my purpose. If I'm spending time having a little argument, I'm not here meeting people at the forefront of evolving as COVID-19 is stressing out the entire species. When I look at the news, when I'm very, you know, I mind my time, but I'm watching Twitter and many people are breaking. Many people don't know how to respond to this. There are humans in our community going to Better with Paul every Monday and Friday, knowing that we're going to survive. Right? We still have so many questions. There's still so much up in, but we know that we have a teacher. We know that we have a recorded session, a college lecture type session on investing happened today. A couple weeks ago, the thought leader one revolutionized my thinking as far as how I'm doing it, what I'm going for. I mean, for any given individual to kind of get up to the 1 million followers, I mean, Paul has 250,000 on LinkedIn, and he's as famous as I can imagine a person being. You're not authentic. You're not being a person anymore. You've just become this collection of clicks. Click, click, click. I mean, the person back there is still the person, but the online presence, there's no there. It's just all automation. One click leads to another click leads to another click. To be the kind of person that gets to unite the globe, I kind of needed to invent a different category of thought leader. I call it #thinking leader. Right? I want to be the person doing improv, coming to all these discussions and just dropping profundity. Like, let me tell you how I think as a philosopher about what we're not seeing that really puts a context that kind of ignites, like, yeah, why is nobody? And again, when I say nobody, I mean, I can only consume so much media. I can only spend, you know, I'm working to meet people, you know, so, but I have not seen a single signal of real, rational, natural health advice about two very simple materials, salt and honey, that have a very long history of being antiviral. So again, you know, honey was used by the armies for centuries It is marvelous at wound healing, marvelous at topical. And it is antiviral and antibacterial. The amount of manufactured, you know, hand sanitizers and soap and such, there's so many chemicals, and I'm a very highly sensitive person. The toxicness of them topically to my hands would be creating, my hands are very dry. So I would suffer a lot back when I worked in corporate America from paper cuts. And I had to learn how to get my hands so that my moisture barrier on my skin would not constantly be getting tiny paper cuts. If you have a paper cut and you have exposed to the virus, that is how it can get in as well. So that's why we don't say only through the mouth, there are other mechanisms. Now your body probably will not, you end up on a ventilator. But if your hands start getting bleedy and cracked, if you were out, you know, doing stuff with the public and you're allergic to the latex in the gloves and your hands are getting cracked and you're having open sores on your hands, this is the kind of in-depth thinking, step away, that I'm certain this is not going to end soon. The cycles of infection we're not having enough clear knowledge being transmitted by the American media for any American who's not intelligent of their own accord to be able to know how to stay alive. There just isn't enough of a signal there. So it's really concerning to me that just at the basic level of hygiene, we've gotten so much wrong. We think hygiene is applying something that was manufactured by a corporation. You know, when most of the knowledge that Americans think they have has all been about an advertisement. And when those people denigrate natural wisdom through their, you know, hey, well, let's not just spend the money to talk about our product. Let's spend some money talking about how the freely available natural stuff doesn't work. The 80-20 rule, right? We're in a jam because America cannot think straight. They cannot think for their own self-interest.
I think it's mostly, I don't like to generalize. I always say, look at yourself as an individual. How are you building your own health? How are you taking care of your mindset? How are you taking care of your body? Because the body is a temple. And if you don't honor that body, and if you don't feed it right, and if you don't take good care of the mind that can affect the whole body itself, then you're putting yourself in a place where anything can happen and you can just be a consumer of whatever happens to you. Look at the cases where they have a lot of immunocompromised people. There are people that don't even know that they have underlying issues. There are people that don't even know they have blood pressure issues. There are people that don't even know they're diabetic until something like this hits, and then their body has to compromise with it. It's more of how are you taking care of your own body. We can keep blaming, the whole country, but it all boils down to how, as an individual, are you taking care of yourself? What are you feeding your mind with? For example, I don't watch the news. Mm-hmm. I don't watch TV because I don't want to feed myself with anything negative. I have set times where I come online and it's just get what I need to get and get out from that environment, share what I need to share and get out from that environment, because I already know my own goals. And another thing is we don't even set goals. We're just going with the flow. And so when you're not taking control of your own life, of your own space, of your own universe, who else will do it? You will end up becoming just a robot being conditioned to follow the norm when the norm may be different for you. It's not a one size fits all. It's more of who am I really? What works best for me? A medicine can work for A and it doesn't necessarily work for me. And so I have to know my body to be able to say, before I go into the hospital and request something, I already know what's wrong with my body. And I already know what I may need. I may not know the right prescription, but I already know where my body is tailored to. You talked about eating the chips, for example. sometimes it's not that you just want to eat it. It's more of you have a conflict, an inner conflict that's not resolved.
Yeah.
And with that void, you now decide to use food as a pacifier.
Mm-hmm.
And so you find yourself just consuming just to soothe. I shared a bit on it this morning when I did a Facebook Live on cheating. The cheater goes out, and people think a cheater is just always a cheater. A cheater has inner conflicts. And just like that, we all have the inner conflicts not resolved. Yeah. And so we've been conditioned to believe I can pacify myself with food, I can pacify myself with sex, I can pacify myself with alcohol. And so we just consume. And then when an epidemic like this happens, a pandemic like this happens, you're looking at how is my body going to react? And because there's already fear existing, that fear may create a mindset to make you believe. And it's about the belief system as well. If you believe I'm going to get this thing, then you're likely going to be infected with it. So it's all about training your mind. What are you feeding? I have a quote that says, what you feed your mind leads your life.
Yes.
And so if you're not feeding your mind anything healthy to make you become consciously aware of what's going on internally and externally, then all you will do is just taking whatever you're being fed with without doing your own legwork and asking questions. Become a critical thinker, become an analyzer where you're asking questions and saying, why do I have to? Because I know myself. And if I know myself, I'm not going to become a victim or a stat to anything else out there.
I love you. I just really love you. Your wisdom and the way you convey things is just so incredible. And it's so both and. I mean, because your perspective as a life coach, relationship coach, is very much own your responsibility. I mean, that's your job, and we need to be told that. Now, as a philosopher, what I'm trying to do is trying to hold society and the culture accountable. Because the individual can be as coherent as they want to be. If they have a micromanaging boss, if they have, all of these variables, then no individual is really standing a chance to be their optimal self. Because there's all these obstacles that they are responsible for handling, but there's only so many obstacles that one individual can handle. We can't just keep handling obstacles, then we're not creating our future. So as a philosopher, when I generalize, I'm trying to talk about society. I'm trying to pull off those blinders that say there's there. We're acting like money is real. Money is a concept. There's been many iterations of what money is. I really think that perhaps, there's a real serious scenario that we might all be on electronic currency as of January 21. There's a real no more physical money because it's a method of transport for viruses. And we're done with it anyway. It costs so much. It costs more to make a penny than it's worth. Right? It probably costs more to make a nickel or dime now than they're actually worth. We don't need these things anymore. We need an actual leader. We need a group of leaders at the presidential level, to be quite frank. I'm gonna startle you here. I have a solution for the Democratic situation. And I'm looking to try, I have sent this to a lawyer in Las Vegas who said she's going to actually think about it. So I've got some legal opinions coming in, but I think I've cracked it. I think I have created an idea that is really strong, really simple, and can unite America to just find an actual adult to run the country. We don't need to be incendiary, because I believe a lot worse about 45. But let's just put this at the level of running a campaign about experience, competence versus incompetence. It's that who has the most experience, who's most likely to be able to deal with the most complex situation America has ever faced. And we only a couple hundred, we're not 250 years old yet. We act like there's this long history of things being like this.
And you know why I always start from the individual level? because the individual ends up becoming the corporate.
It does.
And so if we don't look at it from that perspective, it's the individual that ends up making the body. But if each individual is not consciously aware of who they are, then we have a challenge when it comes to getting up to the ladder. So if we as individuals kind of look at ourselves and say, am I going to consume? And then you as an individual take charge of your own journey, take charge of what you're allowing or accepting. And then if you collectively look at people choosing, because it's choices that we make. I'm going to choose to accept to become a subordinate. I'm going to choose to accept to be abused. I'm going to choose to accept to be treated poorly because I want to be here.
Yeah.
But if you're standing in your power and your will, knowing that you're a light, you will never allow darkness to overshadow you because you stand up with your voice. We were all giving voices. And because we're not conscious of who we are, we haven't found, most of us haven't found ourselves. And there's statistics that says only 8% of people in the whole wide world actually come to know their true light and their true essence.
Wow.
Which is huge. Which is huge. I followed that research for 2 years straight. And for the 2 years, it did not leave 8%. And recently, I followed stats on procrastination by the American Psychology Society. And 90% of people procrastinate. So when you start to procrastinate, you're saying, I'm going to push this aside because I don't know what to do with it. And then someone comes up and determines what to do with your life for you. And because you don't want to do the work, you're going to give it to them. You're going to give them your power to say, you know what? Here, take charge of my life. But who ends up with all the pain? The individual who's giving it up. And if we start to go deep within and resolve our internal conflicts to get to know who we truly were created to be, we will stand up without allowing fear to be a dominant voice. And that's where the most issues are globally.
Yes.
People don't have their voices. Look at Nigeria, for example. I was reading up this morning because somebody had forwarded me a message about COVID in Nigeria, and people were being served food because there's election coming up. And so they're buying you over because they know this is a season where you need food. Yes. And they're handing it over to you to sell your soul to vote for them. But you're not standing up for your voice to say, I'm not voting for you because I don't really know what you're about.
Exactly.
And so am I going to be bought over? And that's how we put ourselves into slavery as well. I'm going to put myself out there to be sold, but we don't know, because I don't know my tomorrow. What we've been taught is more to focus on survival than the love that we truly were created to be. Yes. And when you look at survival love, which is what is popular now, survival love is transactional. I get this and you get that. And because it's transactional, we end up hurting each other a lot.
Yeah.
And then it builds up the ladder to where the people you're also putting in power would abuse you because you're choosing to say, I give my power away to you to take it off. But if you stand in your voice, does it mean you'll never succeed? No, the success was handed over to you as an individual. And so you have to work that battle to make yourself become successful. Oftentimes we give up because all we're doing is surviving, not living.
Yes. Perfect setup for what I believe can guarantee that 45 is booted out of office. Perhaps before November. I mean, this idea is so good that it might just be, okay, let's just figure out. I'm putting forth, and I have this on YouTube, I came up with it days ago. The ticket needs to be Hillary Michelle 2020. Now, what I would like to suggest as a philosopher is that Biden can recuse himself, and he needs to, because the allegations, true, false, left, right, or center, it's precisely the sort of scenario that creates 45's easy win. It divides, it basically has said that many female Democrats now have to figure out how to vote for potentially a sexual predator. This is very traumatizing. Now, those of us females who are strong, like Kemi and I, we can put that aside. We stand in, we know it's more important to get 45 out than to hold Biden accountable, because there's no option. But what if there's an option? What if Biden just recuses himself for health reasons? Okay, and he will only do that if there's somebody who can actually win. He won it fair and square, but if there's a better ticket, I believe he would for his country. So, Clinton, Obama, 2020. We're going age before beauty. We're going alphabetically. It works both ways. Hillary, Michelle, Clinton, Obama. So we don't have, we end all of the things about, but these are the most qualified individuals in the history, in recorded history of US presidential elections. They are so qualified that when we make the messaging, every messaging from the Democratic side is about qualifications. Trump has none. And Trump has been recorded instructing people to ingest bleach.
I'm not political, so I don't get into the political space because I'm not political. I stay out of politics. There's more to it than people see on the surface. I kind of just stay back.
Yeah, and you know what? I still self-identify with apolitical. As far as I'm concerned now, and the reason I spent time thinking about this, and I'm trying to make a smooth, I'm not gonna do a public campaign. I'm not Andrew Yang or anything, but I'm looking to get into a philanthropist who's very political. Somebody, because I don't know how to make it work. I don't know if there's laws. I mean, again, I've asked for just, but again, every single one of us can write in a name for the president when we vote. So there must be a write-in way. There must be mechanisms to look at this, because this is unprecedented. Precedent left Earth on March 2020. And for me, I don't want to hear what anyone has to say about any objection. I'm saying this is the people with the best qualifications, and the country is in such jeopardy. Things are going so quickly and nobody is leading. They've got months of no leadership to reconcile with. So what I'm also going to say then is, we get 2 former presidents for free. We can actually have a team of 4 people now working. One of them can be the official person speaking about health education. One of them can be doing this with business. The other one of them can be doing education. Then Hillary would be the official figurehead president, collating all of the ways that the other 3 are focusing their attention in solving these problems. Humanity is going to self-extinct. There is a real serious, and again, I'm a philosopher right now. This is not a rant or conspiracy theory. Of course, I'm quite emotional over the thought, because as I've looked at this and planned this out, there simply cannot be this sort of person addressing the nation day after day after day in such an inconceivable way. And we're in real jeopardy. Corporations are going to go bankrupt throughout the summer. If nobody can go out and buy anything, then there's no customers. And power is going to be really centralized in the tech elite. And we already know, like we spoke about, they're not trying to kill humanity, but they are legally obligated to increase shareholder value. That's where their focus goes. And when your focus is on one entity, you stop thinking in a life-centric way. How does this harm my community? How does this harm my users, right? The reason nobody can pay attention, I've received a lot of negative feedback, that I talk too fast, that my mind just keeps going and going and going, that I need to fix how I communicate. This is because people have constantly plummeting the attention span. They're not used to thinking philosophically, complexly, in a matrix, where I'm bringing in this, that, I'm saying that's part of what we need to understand when we're voting for who's going to be president, is that this job has now become 4 times as difficult. We're not just voting for one person anymore to be president. This is a very complex job that is about keeping people alive. I could care less about politics. I think the whole system needs to go away. I just wanted basically to give everyone a Gmail for their social security number. And everyone says who they want, and we the people decide. You add it up and everyone's got a social security number in the Gmail. But that's really simple, and that's very idealistic, and that's not going to work. So we go to where the process is right now, and the Clinton-Obama camps can pull together an army to get this right. They've been battle tested. They're probably the only humans who really personally can withstand the emotional abuse that anybody running against Trump will receive. And emotional abuse from an entire campaign team, right? It is an absolute, and what happens to America happens to the globe. We are the ones who have automated the world. Back to my Microsoft, going to Microsoft first. I'm asking Microsoft to recall the Windows 7 end of life, because it is the economically disadvantaged who are still running that operating system and who are not going to have access to buy new hardware. New computers are not going to be able to get in this country being manufactured from overseas.
I'm actually also in the tech world, and the thing about the old systems is that the systems have a lifespan.
Right.
And when you come to the end of the lifespan, there's not much you can do. Even though they may not be able to patch it any longer, it's because it's the end of the lifespan. You have a computer that has a lifespan of 1 to 3 years. At the end of 3 years, there's new, better technology coming out. And then technology moves pretty fast pace. As you see now, things are being linked together just to make things easier and more cheaper, because the older systems were more expensive. If you look at the newer systems, they're cheaper to manufacture and maintain, and that you can get cheaper parts as well to make them and to make things work.
So I mean, everything you said is 100% true, except, not but except, the reason it's like that is because that's how companies like Microsoft continue making money. If they sold you an operating system and they never needed to sell you another one, if you bought a computer and you didn't need to buy another one, the things have become obsolescent, simply because that's how the people who have made so much money keep the buying process in a cycle. And it's not the case. These machines are perfectly capable. The problem is the viruses the computer hackers create that are attacking and it's that then all of the rest of the software running, and most specifically the browsers, which are my ability to earn a living, right? Back to being economically disadvantaged. If the person is capable and they can earn a living digitally, we can't take that capacity away from them. I don't care if it's like, 1,000 people. Again, I'm the perfect example. If you take away my ability to get on the internet because my Windows 7 machine has ended of life, the machine is physically okay. So we've manufactured something mechanically that lasts longer than the software. Well, but the software doesn't have to keep discounting the physical machines. It's all this interoperability that's really a problem, because the marketplace is saturated so broadly because anyone can set up shop and compete. There's a real sort of up and down on antitrust, and that there's a certain point when you've made so much money, nobody can really compete with Facebook. You just can't start right now today and try to get enough humans, billions of them, to come on your platform. Now you can make up different scenarios and be a LinkedIn, you can have we see that happening. You can be a Twitter, that's really just a real brief one. But because human behavior was involved, Facebook is where they are, and there's no free competition against Facebook. There simply isn't. They have then a moral responsibility. Facebook has been responsible for this incompetent man becoming the president during a time when humanity needed real intelligent leadership. I don't care what party they're, I don't care what a person, we have no one leading the country at the time when we need it the most. This is, again, we get all up into our feelings. We talk about the individual. This is a systemic problem. The Constitution was founded, you know, again, 200 and some years ago. 76 was the bicentennial. I can't do.
Yeah, but then you also have to think about who are the ones casting the votes. Well, are they doing their research?
I will give you that 100%. But if there's no acceptable candidate, this is my point about having Biden recuse himself. If there's no accepted candidate, the individual's onus, we don't even get to that point. In the two-candidate system, which is all we've got, again, it's been done like that, and there's just simply no way even somebody who has the capacity to run a campaign like Andrew Yang, you know, Bernie Sanders has not been able to get through. Systemically, we're either or. Americans can only think either or. We can't think, here's three options. How do I pick from three? That is a fundamental mindset that does not exist in the world. It's just how we've chosen to systemically make this system about these two colors, blue and red. So I agree. If the system wasn't so narrow, then it's really on the onus of the individual to be a responsible citizen and to know what they're voting for. And you're not just voting for this one thing. You know, you've got cities and states and school districts. This is, again, too much stuff for anyone.
I personally just try to stay out of anything political because it's not my forte. So I don't get into that space at all.
It's a bad waste of time. Until humanity was at stake, I wanted nothing to do with it. I'm apolitical and happy to say, you can't get me an argument to want to register to vote. You simply, I have not seen an argument that makes me want to do it. It is a losing game because I would need to spend time getting to know the candidates. And what the amount I've spent is, neither one is a good option. If you gave me a third option, if there was an option worth me putting my mental space into, but there is not then. It would not have changed things until right now. The virus is doing a solid in that everything we're seeing through. We're seeing how systemically, the problem is not that individuals are making wrong choices. Some are, of course. I'm not saying that that's not happening, but if you don't actually have enough choices for there to even be a chance that change can happen, we're in a big problem. I think having two women running the country at this point in time is absolutely, it's just the most necessary thing, because here's how the philosopher in me goes. It's this simple. As of March 2020, when we're making any decision, we must be consulting, is this life-centric? Am I going to actually make somebody liable to be killed by, you know, going out without a mask when I know that I am infected and coughing? And you can't make that decision. You have to say, well, I either stay in or I figure out how to get an appropriate mask to make sure that I keep my infection to myself. Again, the mask situation, the masks, nobody seems to quite understand precisely what they do and they don't do. And we now have this situation where, of course, people with darker skin are being forced to wear masks when from February 2020 and earlier, they had to worry about being considered a criminal with masks on. Our society is not prepared for this situation. I mean, we're all having to deal with the horrible death of a guy jogging. This is, I'm fucking jacked. And it is about the fact that we're not thinking clearly. And, you know, this is getting pretty deep, but it's also very light. Because all you've got to do is ask, if I'm doing this, am I harming life? And this is how I intend to get the corporations back on track, is to say, we just change the corporate charter in Delaware so that it says, first, do no harm. Corporations have been given the legal right to do anything so long as they make money. Anything. Some of them have consciences and they work hard at not hurting humans, their community, polluting, being good corporate citizens. But many aren't. Many's margins, the industries they're in, are so small that all they focus on is money, and that harms humans. It harms their employees. Their employees don't live lives filled with variability. If you're constantly driving numbers, low margins, the creativity of humans dissipates. And
I'm just trying to snooze my clock because I have another call at 7:30 Eastern.
Well, we can go ahead. I don't have the chance to pay attention to the time. This has been lovely. I don't want you to miss your next call, but we'll be talking again, right?
Sure, yeah. Thank you so much, Deb.
I love you, Kemi. I really do. I'm honored to have met you.
Same here.